Rangers of Shadowdeep. In our last episode, our heroes, Thundar, Princess Ariel, Ukla the Mock, and their friend He-Man, fought their way through the lower levels of the Tower of Tor Varden, and now they are burst out onto the roof, SWAT style. Collectively, they're known as the Afternoon Specials, and if you're in trouble, if you can find them, maybe you can hire the Afternoon Specials. In our last episode, our heroes fought their way through the lower levels of the Tower of Tor Varden. They have now burst onto the roof of Tor Varden. That's what you see here, represented by the neatly folded drop cloth and the little low walls. Let me just walk you through the geography. The low wall represents the edge of the stone floor. I guess you could call it the roof of the tower itself. The area outside the stone wall is old, well, they're old timbers. I don't know why they would be rotted. They're badly burned and damaged thanks to the attack on Tor Varden. And so we've got a total of 3 orc shooters outside the low wall. They're standing on this wooden, not palisade, what's the word I'm looking for, like boardwalk. Anybody that takes damage in this scenario on the boardwalk is going to have to make an acrobatics roll. If they fail that, they will fall to their doom. We're going to really take some punishment today for not having a whole lot of shooting ability in our heroes and companions. I went with a small group of elite companions. Instead of, I could have, for the same price as one of these guys, I could have bought 3 puke archers. And they would have been pretty good bullet sponges, but hey, I like the elites. What can I tell you? Now, we have a Shadow Knight here. He is no joke. Now, he does only have a fight of +4, which is pretty tough. He's only got like 14 health, but he only takes half damage from non-magical weapons, which is the only kind of weapon I got. And he's backed up by 1 orc fighter right there. We are playing at half scale, so our figures are only going to be moving 3 inches per turn, and the shooters are going to have a range of 12 inches on their shooting. Like I said, the crossbows have +2 to their hit, and that's why it's going to be important that our archer is over here. We will need to distinguish between those. The archers will not cross this low stone wall. If they do not have a target, remember, they won't shoot into melee. If they can't see anybody that's not in melee, they will move in a random direction, but they won't walk off the edge of the board here. We'll just have them stop within an inch. In fact, we won't have anybody move within an inch of the board because, you don't want to fall. The only way to rescue him is to defeat the Shadow Knight. Oh, by the way, the Shadow Knight, he won't fall. He doesn't have to make that acrobat check. He doesn't even have any feet. He just kind of drifts along above whichever surface he's on. So that makes him even deadlier. We only get 3 heroes for this first turn, so we'll bring our Ranger dead ahead. We'll bring He-Man over to back him up. They can move 4.5 inches, and then Ukla is going to come racing around this side. We're going to take out the melee threats first, and we'll just hope that we can dodge the missile weapons until such time as, we've rescued the guy here in the middle. Our Shadow Knight will go first. He's got the most health after all. And he is going to move into contact with... I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to bring He-Man back just an extra 1/2 inch. That way, our Shadow Knight is going to move to and contact and fight the better warrior, the guy with the more damage. And this is going to be a battle of +4. Thundar does have a +1 strength potion. We're going to drink that right now. So it's going to be 5 on 4. And look at that. With a total score of 24. Now, we're going to use one of our special abilities. Thundar the Barbarian has an improved crit range, and we're going to use that. So he does a critical on 18 or better, but we've used that for the scenario. So this becomes a total score of 24, but for the purposes of damage, it becomes a total score of 29. If you subtract the Shadow Knight's armor of 12, that's 17 points of damage. Although, when you cut that in half, it's only going to be... I think you drop all fractions. Well, that's how we're going to do it. We like to play on the difficult setting here. So that will be just 8 points of damage, and the Shadow Knight is down to 6 hit points. You love to see it. But, we're not done because the Orc is going to attack now, and the Orc is going to succeed, and with a fight skill of +2, he will get a score of 14, which will do 4 points of damage to Ukla. The thing with our suite of companions is that we went with the elite guys, really tough fighters. They don't have a lot of armor, so they're a little bit fragile. They have a couple of extra health points, but it would really be nice to have one guy with a full battle suit that could be reducing all of this armor by 4. Yeah, it would be nice, but we didn't do that. So now the next thing we look at is this guy does have a target because we kept He-Man back, our crossbow guy is going to be able to take a shot at He-Man. And with a result of a 13, 14, 15, He-Man has a shield, which gives him +1 to his armor. So the 15 becomes a 17 for the purposes of damage. Subtracting the armor of 11 means that He-Man is going to take 6 points of damage, leaving him with just 8 hit points. We can't suffer too many of those, can we? Then we have another archer who is in range. Our crossbow down here, he's off screen over here. He says, he says, oink. He's going to take a shot at He-Man as well, and this will be at this is also at +2 damage if he hits, and he misses. And then we have one archer that does not have anybody in range, so he will move to the southeast, but because the southeast would have him walking off the table, he's just going to move 3 inches to the east, and that's going to be the end of turn number 1. On turn number 2, we're going to have Thundar strike at the Shadow Knight, and Thundar is going to lose that one. The 17 is going to be a total score of 21 for the Shadow Knight. 21 minus 10 does 11 points of damage to our Barbarian, and he is now down to 8 hit points for the moment. Then we'll bring He-Man in on the assist, and He-Man is going to be fighting at a total of +6. He-Man gets a 17. Oh, we'll take it. 17 minus the Shadow Knight's armor of 12 is going to be 5. That will do 2 more points of damage, which takes the Shadow Knight down to 4 hit points. And then for our third companion, we're going to bring Princess Ariel on the table. She's going to move up 3 inches to here, and she's going to cast Heal on, I think we have to heal up our leader. We're going to take Thundar back up to 13 hit points. And that's going to be the end of the Ranger phase. We go in order of health, which means this guy will go first, fighting Ukla. And that's going to be a tie. Now, when you have... Oh, boy, this is ugly. When you roll a tie, and I haven't been doing a whole lot of this. If you win but you don't do damage, you can push the guy an inch away. That's useful for getting out of melees that you don't really want to fight. When you have a tie score like this, both guys take damage. They both win. Okay, so this is going to be a problem for us because I do think that means Ukla's going down. With a score of 19 minus Ukla's armor of 10, that's 9. Ukla now has just 1 hit point left. Thanks for playing Ukla. On the other hand, the 19 here means that Ukla will do 8 points of damage, leaving that orc with just 2 hit points. And then we have to do some shooting. This time it's going to be Princess Ariel taking a crossbow, which she manages to avoid, and then a second crossbow, which, again, she manages to avoid. And then we have our third bowman, who is going to wander, again, to the southeast, but because he cannot move east, he's just going to move directly to the south. I'm sorry, I meant directly to the east, which puts him right here. That is going to be... Nope, it's not the end of... Is that the end of turn 2? No, it's not, because Ukla still has his chance to make an attack. And Ukla is going to win that with a score of 13. Minus 11 is going to do 2 points of damage, and this orc guard is out of the fight. Ukla with just 1 hit point left, that's his first action. Man, I don't know what we do with Ukla. I think we need to... He can only move... Well, he can move 3 inches with that movement, right? He's going to go hide behind Princess Ariel. Brave guy, huh? Well, yeah, we'll put him here. See, wherever you go, you're going to take hits from those archers. Oh, boy. Well, that's the end of turn 2, and here's where things get even more interesting. During the event phase of turn 2, that's where we're at right now, a green light flares into the sky. Oh, what is this? At the end of turn 2, the heroes see a flame spring up in the distance. They realize the neighboring tower beacon of Tor Dargos has been lit instead of the traditional orange light. And this is actually supposed to be a big wood pile. I don't have a big wood pile. I probably could have taken 20 minutes to cut up a bunch of matchsticks and paint one up, but what are you going to do? The Shadow Knight did something to this. And so now it's just a dark altar. Be that as it may, all heroes must make a will save or become poisoned. And if you are poisoned, you only get one action. All right, so what does that mean? Well, our hero has a will of +5. So he needs it's a toughness number 10, so he needs a 5 or better. So he's fine. And then our Princess Ariel has a will of 3, so she needs a 7. She's fine. Our He-Man gets a 7. That becomes a 10. What is his will? Yeah, his will is 3. That becomes a 10. And then Ukla the Mock has a will of 3. And he fails his. So Ukla only gets one action per turn for the rest of the scenario. He just doesn't have the will anymore. He's too badly battered. The next thing we're going to do... Ariel really doesn't have a whole lot she can do in this scenario, does she? So at the start of turn number 3, this scenario will last until the last enemy is defeated, including those 3 guys on the perimeter. They're going to be really tricky. We're going to start with our... We got to start with our ranger, don't we? Because he's got the +5. Oh, he's got +7 in this case. And with a 27, I think that's it, man. I think we got him. 27 hit points, that's 15, that does 8. He's only down to 4. Shadow Knight is going to be burst asunder. You'll love to see it. And then our hero still has another action, so he's going to race 3 inches to the wall. And that's going to be it for him. Then I think we got to send Princess Ariel and He-Man off to fight. There's 3, 4.5. And then He-Man is going to move 2 inches to here, and then we'll send him another... Let's see, what is it? There was 2, then 3, and then another 1.5 inches to there. And that's about as close as they can get to the other shooter. It is shoot time, so we're going to take a shot at our leader. And that's going to be a failure. It's going to be 18 versus 15. The shooters are all +2. The bowman is going to be shooting at the closest figure, which I think is Princess Ariel. Ariel is about 3. Well, let's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's going to be shooting at He-Man, which is good for us. He-Man dodges that bow, and then the crossbow will absolutely be shooting at Princess Ariel. And he is going to fail with a 10 versus a 12. Princess Ariel has a fight of 0. In melee, she's at -2. She is not at -2 when it comes to missile attacks. That is going to be the end of turn... no, it's not. That's not turn 3, because we do still have Ukla, and we're going to race Ukla over 4.5 inches. He may need to soak some damage over here. We may be glad to have him over there. That is going to be the end of turn number 3. No events on turn number 3. We do have an event on turn number 4. Notice we're not using cards. These are programmed events. So for the barbarian phase, the ranger phase, it's going to cost 1 inch to get over the wall, and then we can only get another 3.5 inches to here. Then Princess Ariel, she has a range of 4 inches, so she's going to move up to the wall, and we should probably be, if you're shooting across the wall, you should probably be at -1. But if you're next to the wall, that being the case, she can move 3 inches and still take a shot. We'll move her up there, and then it's just going to be a straight shot. What is her shoot skill? Princess Ariel, we don't use her shooting a whole lot. It's just a straight shoot skill. She's going to be at She's going to be at nothing, and this guy is going to be at +1. So she wins with a score of 14, and she does 3 damage to this guy, which will take him down to just 7 hit points. Where's my health counter? 14 minus 3, yeah, so he's going to be a 7. But this orc also has to make an acrobatics roll, and to succeed in that, he doesn't have acrobatics, so he needs, on a 1 through 4, he falls to his demise. He's still okay. So that was 1, 2, 3, and then Oh, Ukla can't move 4.5 inches. He can only take one action per turn. So we're going to move him up 3 inches to there. And we'll see what happens. So He-Man still has yet to go. We got 3 shots. We got an open shot here. And a 14, 16 will do damage to Thundar. 16 minus the 10 does 6 points of damage, taking Thundar down to just 7 hit points. He also needs to make an acrobatics check. On a 19, he is fine. Then we have a shot to Princess Ariel. And Princess Ariel is going to score she's going to, let's see. He is at +1. That's a score of 21. She is at 19. She still takes the damage. That 20 minus her armor of 10 does 10 points of damage to her. Princess Ariel is going to be down to just 2 health at this point. And then we have one more shot at Ukla. And Ukla is going to dodge that shot just fine. And that's the end of turn number 4. At the end of turn number 4, another green light flares into the sky from the other direction. Tor Hamel has also been lit with evil fire. All heroes must make a will roll, toughness number 12, or suffer -2 fight. We'll start with our leader. Looking for a 7, he gets it. Then we'll roll for Ukla. He fails it, so he has only got 1 action. He is at -2 fight. He-Man succeeds. And finally, Princess Ariel fails, so she is at -2 fight. Not shooting, just fight, which is good because we're going to open up with her taking another shot at this bowman. And she will succeed, and succeed pretty good. Her shoot skill is 0. That 19 means she does 8 points of damage, and this orc is going to be eliminated. Nice shooting, sweetheart. I love it. Not only that, but she is going to be able to move 3 inches in this direction. We're trying to get close enough. She only has a range of 4 inches. So will she be able to shoot at this guy in the next turn? She will. You love to see it. The next thing we're going to do is bring our hero over here to the opposite corner. He will be fighting that orc way over there. And it's going to be a total of +5 versus a +1. And it's going to be a total of +5 versus +1. 14 does 3 points of damage to this guy. Except we're going to use our special ability. It's called Powerful. It's going to do 3 extra damage, knocking this archer down to just 4 health. And that archer now has to make an acrobatics check, which he does. Where's my damage? So there we go. This crossbow guy only has 4 health left. He-Man is now going to move 2 inches to here and then a 1/3 inch to get over the wall. And then he will move another 1.5 inches to here. Princess Ariel is the closest, so she's going to have to soak this crossbow shot. And she, with a 20, is going to succeed in dodging it. Now we have to decide, do we want to bring Ukla over the wall? I think we do. We go 2 inches to there and then 3 inches, and then he's done, at least until the next turn. That's the end of turn 5. Here on turn number 6, let's start with our companions down here. Ukla, why don't you see what you can do? Ukla moves into contact, and he is going to fight Garar. Now remember, Ukla is at -2, so he is going to be fighting at a total of +2 to +1 for the archer. A 14 will succeed in doing some damage. Let's check the acrobatics roll. On a 1 through 4, the fight's over. All right, it's not. So that 14 becomes a 16 for damage purposes, meaning that Ukla does 5 points of damage to this orc, and we'll put a little green die there. And then, if we were smart, we should have, dagnabbit, we should have had Ariel move up. Be that as it may, we will move. This is 4.5 inches. He-Man is going to be just shy. So we'll bounce back over to the opposite corner where our Ranger Barbarian is fighting at a +5 versus a +1. He gets 24, which will put an end to this orc. We just have the 1 orc warrior remaining, and it is his activation. +1 for Ukla, +2 for the orc. The orc is going to do 11 points of damage. Ukla goes down. We're going to have to make an injury roll for him. That is the end of the turn. Do we have anything going on any more of these turns? During the event, after turn 5, the Shadow Knight will move into contact with the woodpile, but that's it. Turn 5 is where something might have happened. We are now on to the companion phase, and is Princess Ariel within 4 inches? I think she's within 4 inches. We're going to take the shot with her little wrist lasers, and with a 12 versus this guy's 12, that will be a tie result, which does 1 point of damage. I don't think it's going to make any difference there. And then we'll bring He-Man in. Order doesn't really matter for us because we're on opposite sides of the table. So He-Man is now fighting at a +4 versus +2. He-Man is going to be... No, it's +1. That's 10. He only has... Oh, you know what we forgot to check? We forgot to check this Orc's acrobatics. On a 1 through 4, the Orc falls. And with a 14, the Orc is fine. That means that He-Man is also going to have to make a survival check. That fight... The result of a 20 did 9 points of damage. He only had 8 left over. Okay, now things get a little bit awkward because Princess, we've moved everybody. He's gone. That's the end of the turn. On our Ranger phase, do we want to send Princess Ariel in? Well, Ariel, you're going to take a shot. Let's see what happens. So Ariel takes her shooty bit, and she fails. She misses. And our leader is going to move 4.5 inches. He's racing to her rescue now. And then our shooter is going to take a shot. And he's at +2. Well, he misses. On the next turn, Ariel takes her shot. We've got a little bit of a gunfight down here. And she misses with a 10 versus a 19. Our hero races 4.5 inches. The crossbow takes his shot. And he misses. That's the end of the turn. On the next turn, our hero goes 2 inches to here, and then he can move an additional 2.5 inches to there. Princess Ariel takes her shot, and she hits with an 18. 18 does 7 points of damage, and she says, "Why are you trying to kill snipe me, boss? I got this all under control." And I guess this guy should have been at -1 since she was in cover, but sometimes I forget these things. That will be the end of this scenario. We have rescued that lone survivor from Tor Varden. And that's it for the Night of Green Fire, except at Tor Varden, where our heroes prevented the green beacon from being lit. I see what's going on here. These are watchtowers that were built between the border of 2 countries, and they fell into disrepair and disuse when the country signed a long-lasting peace. Well, when the one country got swallowed up by the Shadowdeep, which we haven't really talked about a whole lot because there's a lot of videos on that to begin with. Basically, we're fighting against this reality cancer. This chaos has blossomed inside the neighboring country. I don't remember. Did we say that we're next to Eternia here? We're trying to save Eternia? Whatever it is, that's why the outside of that tower, that boardwalk, was so rotted away, because the good guy team sent reinforcements, but they didn't have time to repair the tower. They just barely had time to staff it. Be that as it may, let's talk about experience. You get 3 experience points for each Gnoll archer killed. Well, wait a minute. We killed orcs in our case. We killed a total of 4 orcs, so I'm going to call that 8 experience points. One of them was not an archer, he was just a soldier, but that's right. We get 10 experience points for killing the Shadow Knight. We got 10 experience points because the man atop the woodpile is saved. Hey, we took that Shadow Knight out behind the woodpile, didn't we? 10 experience points if the woodpile is not satellite. What is that? It will spend an action. It will then spend, if it has an action, it will light the pile. Oh, so you can keep that pile from being lit too, which is what we did. If that Shadow Knight was still alive, if we didn't have used both of our big abilities to do some buku damage on him, then he would have used 1 action to kill the guy and 1 action to light the woodpile. So you have a total of 20 experience points you can earn from that. We did see Tor Dargos lit, and we did see Tor Hammond, and we did retake Tor Varden. We killed all the bad guys, so that means we got a total of 10, 20, 30, 40, 58. Did I get that right? Yeah, 58 experience points. Now for the not-so-fun bit. 2 of our companions did not survive that scenario. We have to roll on this chart right here. We'll roll. Remember, we already lost Battle Cat to this table. Let's see what happens to Ukla. With a 9, he makes full recovery. How about He-Man? With an 11, he makes full recovery. Whew! Boy, a little bit of stress, a little bit of drama there, eh? Now, we didn't have any treasures. We didn't have to deal with that. We don't have to roll on. There's some fun stuff. If you get this one, the badly permanent injury, then that is like you could have your movement reduced. But we haven't run into that at all. Look at that serious. Boy, he's a real ranger-looking fella, isn't he? Our companions don't get experience points. They get progression points. Ariel gets 2, putting her at 9. She is just 1 away from gaining a health. He-Man and Ukla are at 8, so if they can survive a scenario for once, they will also reach, like, basically second-level companions. We did hit a total experience points of 348 for our ranger. That puts him at 348 experience. That does put him up to level number 4, and at level 4, you get a new heroic ability or spell. And I think, given all the difficulty that he has keeping his bros alive, we need some more healing, man. Not a lot of armor. We're going to give him the heal spell, which has a range of 6 inches, and it's plus 5 hit points when used. Now, that is going to take him out of the fight for an action every game, but that's all right. Remember, we used that strength potion I crossed off, and his health will go back up to 0 4. Tune in next time when the after-school specials begin their descent into darkness. Look at the giant flies, swamp zombies, more orcs. Yeah, we use orcs, not gnolls, because I have orcs. I don't have gnolls. But we're going to see some trolls and burrow worms, and there's even some good guys that make an appearance. So tune in as we begin the next mission. And then just to remind you, each mission has multiple scenarios. I think this one is 3 to 5 scenarios, depending on how you want to play it. We'll try to stretch it out as much as possible because we are really enjoying the challenges, the tactical and strategic choices that you make in this game and that Joe McCullough punishes you for or rewards you for, depending on a case-by-case basis. And having kind of looked ahead, not so much on the Broken Stairs, but I know in the second scenario, we're going to be really glad we don't have any battle tanks wading into armor in full iron. Not a spoiler, just a teaser. Till next time, I'm praying for you.